Okay, hello everybody, welcome in. Everybody's starting to find that we're on the air, and there we go. We are live worldwide on YouTube. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name is Ian, and we are broadcasting from Starship Studios here in Southwest Florida. And we are live tonight, broadcasting all over the world. I'm glad that you guys joined us. I know we'll have a bunch more joining us here in just a few minutes. Tonight, there's not a lot going on. I'm doing a really short broadcast. I just wanted to come on and so that I'm here and I'm doing what I can do for you guys. I'm spent. I can't even get my words to come out straight. I've already done 6 hours of broadcasting today, 2 meetings in another county, and all kinds of stuff today. You have no idea. I got just an absolutely crazy day, and so I'm going to be here tonight. I'm here, and we'll see how it goes, but I'm probably not going to be on very long. There's nothing going on weather-wise, as you can see from the map there. There's really nothing going on. We've got some winter advisories up right now in the mountains in California, and that's really just about it. There's just not a whole lot going on. Today, of course, and the one thing I definitely wanted to talk about tonight for a few minutes, Charlie Kirk. Today is a National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Today, President Donald Trump awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest award that can be offered or issued to someone who's not in the military. You have to get the Medal of Honor, you have to be in the military. If you are not in the military, the highest honor that can be bestowed on you is the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and that was presented to his wife today, who accepted it for him on his behalf. The president gave a great speech, especially the end part there where he gave that award. And it was an interesting ceremony. They had to move it to the Rose Garden because they ran out of space. There was so many people coming. It was an amazing event today. And they engraved the cross on the back of it, which I thought was really cool, and his name. And that's the first time a symbol has ever been engraved on the back of a Medal of Freedom. So, thought that was cool. He would have been 32 years old today. He was so young. I mean, he just today would have been 32 years old. Today is his birthday. And so today will forever be known as the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. And we'll never forget. It was touching. They had some remarks that the president had made off camera that were really good. There's still people out there praising the shooter and thanking God Charlie Kirk is dead, and then they get laid off or fired, and then they're all upset. And it's like, no, you don't understand. When you work somewhere, I don't care if you work for the government. When you work somewhere, you are bound by the rules of that job. The First Amendment does not protect you from losing your employment over free speech. Okay, that's one that I think a lot of people are having a problem with right now. Is the First Amendment protects you from the government telling you can't protest, the government coming and arresting you, the government coming and silencing you, the government making laws and rules where you cannot protest or you cannot have the First Amendment, the different facets of the First Amendment. That's what that's all about. That's what it protects. But it doesn't protect you at work from your employer. It doesn't protect you. You're walking down the road You got free speech. You can say whatever you want. But the guy you're talking to may fatten your lip. That's not protected either. Okay? You're allowed to say whatever you want. And he can punch you in the face and you can have him arrested and it's all a bunch of mess. But the truth is, it only protects you from the government. It doesn't protect you from individuals or your boss at work. It doesn't protect you when you go in to buy a t-shirt somewhere, or you go have a cake baked with your names on it. It doesn't protect you in those places. It only protects you from the government themselves, and that's it. And I think that's so important to remember that. All right, I had 2 views. Now we're down to 1. This is the only thing going on. And I've looked all around. There's nothing going on tonight. That's why I'm taking a bye night. But I wasn't just going to not come on. So I wanted to go ahead because of Charlie Kirk, and I wanted to honor him for a moment and make sure that we mark this occasion and mark this date because it's so important. Yep, the AR5RM. Now that it programs with chirp, it's a great radio. At first, it would not program with chirp, but yeah, that's a good radio. Hey, Junior, what's up? Junior's here now. Junior is going to be one of my mods over here. Well, he's here. He's a mod here. He's also a mod over. I hope I'm gendering you correctly, Junior. But anyway, a mod over on Discord, because we've been having some issues with Discord, and it really aggravated me last night, and I shouldn't get that way, and I apologize if I offended anybody, but it really upset me. All the hard work we put in here, and we're doing a good show, we're putting on good live information for people, and this guy posts 500 pictures of big, huge black men with their penises out. And I'm like, thank you very much for that, okay? What's up with that? So it's fixed now. We've got both human moderation now and also bot moderation going on in there, and also the first sign of trouble, we're just gonna shut it off, and then I'll turn it back on tomorrow. I don't give a shit. But I'm not gonna let it bother me. I shouldn't have let it bother me last night. That was my bad. And hey, I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong. Yeah, so what we got going on out there? Yep, and the last live feed I had just went down. So I don't know. That's it. I don't know what else there is out there, guys. I'll go ahead and run it again. There's all the spoofs are running. Crux and Mint and ET Now, Times Now, ET World, Hook Global. It's ridiculous. There is just so many spoofs out there. It's very difficult. Faithful Foundations. Well, thank you very much for the donation. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. All donations here go right back into the studio to buy equipment so I can do more live broadcasting. That's what it's all about. I make enough money to eat and stuff otherwise, so everything I make here goes right back into here again. And anything I make on the live drives, you know, I put back into the gas, you know, and the drives and stuff like that. So it covers it all. I do appreciate it, though. Thank you very much. All right, and all right, we got a little bit of a crowd coming in here. I do appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Again, my name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, and I'm just going to briefly tell you about my life for the last 5 days. I'm coming off right now what I call Hell Week. On Friday, I went in at 4:30 in the morning, and I worked a double. At work, I worked the morning show. Then I left the morning show at 9:30 and drove to the facility where my mom's at. I left there at 1:30 and drove straight back to the station, stopping and grabbing some Taco Bell on the way. and went right back to work and produced another 3-hour show. That's 6 hours. And then I came home and did 2 more. And then on Saturday, I did 14 hours of contiguous live broadcasting here with all the civil unrest in both Portland and Chicago. And then woke up Sunday and did it again. I did 7 hours on Sunday, a total of 20 hours of YouTube broadcasting over the weekend. And then stayed up until 12 o'clock at night, and then woke back up at 3:15 in the morning, 3 hours later, and went back and produced today. Yesterday, I produced the morning show, went to the facility, came back, did the afternoon show, plus did the evening show, and then woke up today after only about 4 to 5 hours sleep, and did it again today. Worked the morning show, went to the facility, and I had 2 meetings at the facility today. Worked the afternoon show, and now I'm here. And I'm exhausted. I haven't slept in days. So I know you guys that know me, probably, if you've only known me for a couple weeks, if you're fairly new to the channel, you're probably thinking, this guy is constantly bitching about never getting any sleep. Well, no, it's not always like that. My life's fairly stable most of the time. It's just we've had a lot of breaking news lately. We've had a lot going on lately. And also, I've been working literally doubles at work, producing an entire morning show, and then going back and producing an entire afternoon show, working 10 hours a day at the station. Plus my schedule here, plus what I'm doing in between. And it's rough, and I'm having sleeping problems. So it's one of those things. But I'm here. I'm good tonight. I actually don't feel all that bad. I'm going to stay on a little bit with you guys. We're going to discuss. There's something I got to show you in the tropics. I told you guys last night that I thought it was over. And tonight, the American model is showing something downright evil in the Caribbean. And so we're going to look at that here in a few minutes as well, because that's the best performing model right now, and that's putting a major hurricane just south of Cuba in about on the 30th of October. Now that's so far out, but you got to keep an eye on these things, because that means, it doesn't mean that that's exactly what's going to happen, but it means that enough of the modeling is picking up that something's going to be down there forming into a storm, not only to find Genesis this late in the season, but it deepens it down to like 931 millibars or something, which is kind of scary. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. Again, tonight we're honoring Charlie Kirk and his life, and Turning Point USA and what's been done. I got to tell you guys, they have literally grown exponentially about 25 times since he was shot and killed. You can't argue with that. Like I told you guys on here before, they're starting chapters for the homeschoolers here in this county. Every high school. They're talking about putting them in the middle schools. We're finally getting conservatives involved, and we're going to stop this indoctrination, or at least counter it. We need people in every school saying, look, there's an alternative to what your teacher's been teaching you when it comes to politics. It's so important right now. So very, very important. What are these guys talking about? Let's look.
Nothing they say is going to be true, that's for sure.
They're going to harass you.
They sure have moved up quite a bit.
So,
Hey, that shit about this storage went national on like 4 different news channels last night. Crazy. Hopefully they get them out of there. Yeah. Hopefully they get them out of there.
All right, I don't know what he's talking about. We'll go back in just a minute and check again. All right, yeah, I'm checking Portland right now. If your links don't go in, once I get to know you for 2 or 3 weeks, I'll make you a mod. But if you're not a mod and your links won't go in, and you need to put a link to me, go over to Discord and put it in the general tab. I'm monitoring the general tab during the show. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Quite a crowd coming in tonight. Thank you, Faithful. I appreciate that. It took me 5 years to build this studio. And tomorrow or the next day, I actually have some time tomorrow. I've got about 5 hours in the morning tomorrow that I've dedicated to this room. And I'm going to sleep in as long as my body wants to sleep in the morning for the first time in like a decade or a week or whatever. And but when I get out here tomorrow, I'm going to straighten up. I'm going to sweep. I'm going to do I'm going to do my little bit of maintenance out here. I'm going to wipe everything down. I'm going to clean the screens off. I haven't done all that in a couple weeks, so it's been a long time. So then I'm going to take the Lennox machine from over there and move it over here, and I'm going to hook up the Lennox machine over here. The ham radio stuff, I'm actually going to be moving some of the ham radio stuff. I'm not sure exactly how much or where it's going, but I'm going to be doing something with some of the ham radio stuff. I'm going to be dealing something with screens right here. I need more screens. I want to get 2 screens over here for the Lennox machine because I'm gonna try something on Saturday for the first time. I'm gonna simulcast. I'm actually gonna have one stream going on the Lennox machine that's got like 4 different cams covering different places, and then I'm gonna have this going on over here with 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 cams. The Lennox will go up to 8 or 9 cams too. It'll all depend on what I can find, what's going on. But Saturday, that No Kings thing is supposed to be huge. Now, the last one, I'm not going to say it was a dud, but it did not show out like they thought. However, with these kind of things, they do generally tend to grow exponentially because more and more people get involved. Also, with the Charlie Kirk thing so close, and what happened last weekend with the 300 or so conservatives that showed up and put up the Charlie Kirk and they were attacked and all that. With all that going on, I have a funny feeling we're going to have clashes. We've got a No Kings protest going to happen down here in ruby red Southwest Florida. There's not a redder place in the country. And they're having a No Kings rally. And I mentioned 2 or 3 times on the radio how nice it would be if the conservatives were set up across the street. So I put the bug out to our 125,000 listeners. Hey, you don't have to watch on TV. You can go out there yourself and you can be a counter protester. And so I kind of put the thought in their head because we talked about what I saw last weekend on the stream. I talked about how I saw that they put this big mural of Charlie Kirk with a cross and a flag. I said it was beautiful. And I said, and then they started playing God Bless America on the boombox, and I went emotional. I couldn't help it. I was like, oh my God, look at these people showed up. The patriots showed up to defend our country. I was so happy to see them out there. And to see that our American flags were being waved by patriots and not by cartoon characters or people that are all like painted out or naked people on bicycles or the stuff that's been going on is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I believe in free speech and I believe in their ability to do their free speech. I'll even let the guys on the bicycle slide because it's free speech, it's expression. However, when they start going across the street and attacking the opposing protesters, that there has to be a line drawn there. And I will admit, Portland did come out several times and arrest the agitators that were going across the street. I'm the first one to tell you I'm not necessarily always happy with the way the police handle the Constitution. They walk all over it. They piss all over it. But we need these guys. This whole defund the police thing is ludicrous. You don't get rid of something that's broken or that needs work. If your car needs a little bit of work, you don't just get rid of it, you fix it. You get it running good again. That's all we got to do. Okay, thanks, Jim. Listen, we're on every night at 9 p.m., even nights like tonight where I'm a proverbial zombie. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm on just about every night. And this weekend, I am planning wall to wall coverage. It's probably going to start. I have no idea when it's going to start. But if I had to guess, I would say around lunchtime. What I do, this is crazy, you're going to laugh. What I do is when I have enough live views to fill the windows, I go live. That's how I decide that the protest has started. There's enough going on to talk about. It's been long enough that I can aggregate news and things like that. If I start too early, I sit there for 2 hours with nothing going on. But I also don't want to miss it. I want to be one of the first channels that are out there in front of this thing. So, that's kind of where I'm at with that. But coverage of the No Kings rally and the counter protesting this weekend, which I am hearing is going to happen. And also remember the laser light thing. For those of you who have seen weird things about lasers and you're not sure what's going on, well, I'm going to tell you. These people passed out lasers to everybody, and at a certain time they were going to try to blind the pilot and bring the chopper down. That I'm not making this shit up. That's a true thing. And that's why last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even up till today, the Portland police chopper has been grounded. The Chicago police choppers, the fleet of them, have been grounded. News choppers, no. It's been a no-fly zone. I don't know if it's an ordered no-fly zone or just people going, well, I'm not sending my pilot up there. And then I read a statement that was made by one of the police departments that came, hey, Bass Shadow, thank you for coming in. Welcome aboard. And thank you for joining the Starship crew. But I just, when I'm looking at these protesters, they're just, they're rudderless in many cases too. And I think that's another problem. They're all protesting different things, and they can't quite get the steam they need for these protests, because when they were protesting Floyd, what happened to Rodney King, or what happened to George Floyd, or the 3 or 4 other ones, I can't come up with the names right now. When all those were going on, those were full-blown riots. They were burning Target stores down and all that. Those were a different kind of riot. Those were riots based on something they saw right there on TV. This man was killed, arguably by police right there on the road. And there was 2 very polarizing sides to the story, and it grew very quickly. That was a very different situation than what we're dealing with now. Now is a whole different group of people protesting, okay? Instead of the Antifa types, we're not seeing a lot of anarchists in these protests lately, and we're not seeing gangs. That's another thing. Lots of gangs were involved in the protesting after Floyd. Lots of big gangs, lots of thugs, lots of street crime guys. They were all involved in this. And in this particular protest, what do we have? No gangs, not that many thugs, maybe a few anarchists mixed in. But what do we have mostly out there? Disney characters, SpongeBob SquarePants. We've got all these like stuffed animal characters, and women with blue hair, and all these weird people wearing weird things and playing weird things and beating on drums and playing these whistles really loud in people's ears. And just, I saw some of the craziest, wackiest, weirdest stuff. And then the naked bicycle guys go by. And then the clowns, there was some clowns that were making balloons. It was like a goddamn festival. And I'm thinking, isn't it, are they, this is a serious protest, right? And so you have to see that it's 2 completely different groups, 2 completely different ideologies. They're both on the left politically, but that doesn't mean anything. It's a very different time right now. Now, this weekend, they're really pushing this weekend to be big. And so I am generally concerned that we could see a bunch of unrest this weekend. And so I'm doing everything I can here to make sure that I'm geared up for the coverage. Both because I love to do it, and because you guys love to watch it, and because, of course, it helps the channel in the algorithm. Okay? So I think it's a good thing. Brandon, it is a circus. Forget the tent. We'll do it right outdoors. Hey, James. Hey, Victor. Hey, Brandon. Standard, Jim. I think I've said everybody. Hey, Peace Frog. Hello. Lots of peace in the Middle East right now. I'm loving that. Faithful Foundations, welcome in. Lots of folks in tonight. The numbers went right up tonight, guys. I think we fixed the algorithm problem. The problem was I was putting all these unmanned streams up on this channel, and it was ruining my algorithms because a lot of people click in and they're like, oh, there's nobody talking here, and they click right back out, and that kills my algorithms. I went from having hundreds of viewers down to having maybe 10. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Did I suddenly start, do I stink? Do I suck suddenly? Did I have a stroke and what's going on? So, and then I figured it out. I went and watched a bunch of stuff. I did some stuff with Grok and ChatGPT, and finally got the answer I was looking for. The bottom line is the number one thing YouTube looks at is how long you watch a video. They don't care. The subscribe is important. The thumbs up's kind of important. But how long you watch the video. If you go in one of my videos and hit the thumbs up and back out, you actually hurt my algorithms. If you put a channel up and you're going to run to the store, put the channel on and leave it on for 30 minutes when you run to the store, then come back and turn it back off. Now you've helped me. That's the difference. Stuff like that. So what I realized was I'm putting up all these like secondary subsequent channels that are very niche, that only a certain amount of people are going to sit and watch for more than a minute. So those were killing my algorithms. Now I go live, boom, I'm at 50 people already. So things are going. Things are moving back in that direction again. We're doing good. Also, my subscribers suddenly started to fall. And YouTube does pruning and stuff like that. My subscribers dropped like 400 or 500 subscribers in the matter of a week. I was about to start trying to contact YouTube creators because I didn't know what to do about it. And then it stopped. And because of all the coverage and everything we've been doing, I've earned all that back and we've reversed the trend. Hey, Red. And hey, Coco. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And hey, Junior. Sludgeon, Junior, and I think there's a couple more of you. I made you mods over on Discord because I saw you guys and I know you're mods over here. I made you guys mods over on Discord. Keep it as open as you can, but always police spam 100%. And by the way, I saw over there, I went and spent 25 minutes the other night rather than sleeping. I spent 25 minutes deleting all the dick pics off of my Discord. And you know what I realized after that? If you go to the guy and you ban the guy, it gives you the option to delete everything he ever put in your server. So do that. Immediately ban them and then go and delete everything they put in the server. Yeah, Texas is definitely not blue. As a matter of fact, Texas is almost as red as Florida. Hey, babe and John. Bebe and John, how you doing? Dominic, hello. Yeah, Brandon, that whole pilot with laser thing, I'm not happy about. Here's the idiot. You're gonna point, this always reminds me of the movies where they're shooting at a helicopter that's hovering over them. That bitch is coming down somewhere and they drop like a safe, okay? I don't know why you would shoot at something that's over you, that's gonna fall when you shoot it. But that's how dumb they are. They had planned to take the chopper down by blinding the pilot, which potentially could kill a lot of people. That thing could crash right in the middle of the crowd and kill 100 people. I mean, think about it. Not to mention the cops inside the chopper. Yeah, we're going to have a much colder than normal winter this year. As Al Gore would say, more proof of global warming. We played another report from Dan Rather this time. No, it was Tom Brokaw. We did a report from Tom Brokaw from 1986, where he was talking about how they showed a map of Florida, and they said in the year 2000, Florida would be 25 to 50% underwater, and they showed a map that shows my entire county underwater by 2000. It's 25 years after that, and the tide hasn't rose 1 effing centimeter. Jesus, people. Does anybody buy this shit anymore? The acid rain, the hole in the ozone layer, the coming ice age, global warming, climate disruption, overpopulation, global famine. None of this shit comes true. It's all this them trying to make money on shit, trying to find an angle on something. Yeah, I think we're gonna have blizzards. Oh yeah, it's gonna be cold. I'm going up to my cabin. I'm gonna go hang out with Heath up there in the mountains for a while, up at my cabin in Georgia. And the only main reason I'm going up, other than to go to the Hamfest and meet Heath, the only reason I'm really going up there, because I'm going up by myself, which is something I don't normally do, go to my cabin by myself. The only reason I'm going up there is because I got to get that thing ready for winter. I got to blow out the pipes. I got to clean out everything. I got to get all the water out. Then I got to put antifreeze in all the traps. Yeah, Florida boy, winterizing. It's kind of fun. People in Disney suits. You're right. Where I want you guys to think about that. Have you guys ever seen a serious protest? They're protesting that they hate the president, they want lawlessness, and they want all the people that came here illegally to stay. That's what they're protesting. And they're doing it in bunny suits. What does this world come to? I look at Israel. I look at France. I look at Germany. I look in the UK. Okay, Paris, France, the other day. Places in the Middle East. They show up even at the Vatican when they do something there. 1 million people show up. People show up for these big, huge rallies or protests. Either way, all over the country, right? All over the world. And you don't see them all bouncing around in dinosaur costumes and SpongeBob SquarePants. I even saw the boys from South Park at one point. Hey, screw you guys. And I know Eric Cartman never would have been over on the other side of the road with them guys, so it really wasn't him. Anyway, yeah. I saw the Chucky. I saw that. There was zombies out there. There was these big rat creature things, but their head just hung out through the mouth the whole time, and it looked weird. There was just the weirdest stuff. People going around with bullhorns, just making noises in people's ear. I mean, just annoying ass people, man. That doesn't surprise me, Bebe and John. It doesn't surprise me. That's what they do. They arrest people as a show, and then they take them around behind the building and they write them a ticket and they let them go. The Portland's bad. They'll confiscate all their shit, and then the next day they'll come down and say, look, the mayor said you got to give all that shit back, and they got to give it all back. It's ridiculous. It's what happens when you have the incompetent, immature children in charge of the city and the state. Luckily, we've got an adult in charge of the country now. Coco. You know what's funny, Coco? We were talking about this on the air the other day. I have never owned a coat. I go up to Georgia, I put like 3 jackets on. I got like long johns I put on underneath my pants and my shirt and everything. And then I got like a big ski jacket that I bought, and that's what I use for a coat. I've never actually owned a coat in my life. I'm 56 years old. That's what happens when you live in Florida. I got plenty of pairs of flip-flops, but I do not have. I've never owned a coat. We've got a Burlington coat factory, but they took the word coat off. It's now just Burlington. Yeah, okay, let's see here. Oh man, you got to go into Portland. It's like a DMZ there, isn't it? Like a demilitarized zone. The circles are camera locations. I've just got the camera locations turned on. There's really nothing going on. The map shows all those little circles and stuff, but that doesn't mean anything. Those are just, these are like cameras. I can click on each one of these and it will bring up a live camera with all the live data. And the network's growing. It grew over here first. There's nobody out there. It is what it is. The storm chasers, I leave this on because the storm chasers are slightly larger circles, and you can see that they're actually storm chasers. And some of the storm chasers now, they've got these drop things they're dropping with cameras on them, trying to get them in the tornado. Also, there's one guy that was over on the Outer Banks. He put cameras on the houses that he thought might fall into the ocean. Of course, it wasn't as bad as we thought. I don't think any of them did, but yeah, Burlington just turned into another Ross or Bell's. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's all it is. I know. I use Radar Omega. You guys can get it on your phone for free. Now, if you want to use it for broadcasting or use it on your computer, it costs a nominal amount of money. Like, I don't know, it's like $40 a year or something. Maybe it's a little more now. I don't remember. But I like Radar Omega because it gives you the most amount of everything. You can zoom into each thing. You can go into each warning and go into each thing. This one is great for broadcasting because it looks really smooth on the, the radar doesn't look smooth. I don't know if you guys know this. You know when you see my radar here and you're like, man, that's a choppy ass, nasty looking radar. And then you go look over at like the TV, whatever, in your town's radar, and it looks really smooth and really cool. You want to know the truth? That's just an effect they apply to the radar at the last minute before they show it to you on TV. We do it at work. Because people like smooth. They like everything to look smooth. However, I don't use that function. You want to know why? It's not real. It blends all the pixels together and it does averages. This is showing me exactly what the data is coming out of the tower, and that's why I don't turn on those smoothing features. I will leave it like it looks like this. It looks blocky. But that tells me exactly what data came in for every square. All right, yeah, and when we do storm chasing, I want you guys to know we do storm chasing on this channel. And it's kind of weird. It's one of those things where I would love for you guys to see what we do, because when you come in just for a few minutes and it's like, hey, I see this channel, it's kind of cool. He's got like a little bit of a neat studio, whatever. But the truth is, this is a lot of fun in here. We have some really good fun in here, and if you give me just a second, I'm going to set it up here. But we do all kinds of different broadcasting here. It's not just what we're doing tonight or what we did last night or whatever. We do all kinds of storm chasing here. And hold on, let me just fix this real quick. Here we go. There we go. Give me just a second here. All right. What I did was I did a video that can show you guys what it's like in here when we get a tornado coming down on the ground, okay? And I'm gonna bring you to this moment on a show we did about 4 weeks ago when we had tornadoes on the ground in the Dakotas. This tornado went on to kill people this night. It was a big tornado, and we were right on all these storm chasers. We had 8 storm chasers at the same time. I'm going to show you a snippet of this video. The music is not included normally. This is a proof of performance piece, which means it's there to show people and kind of excite people about what we do. But anyway, I want to show you what it's like on this channel when it gets good. Point. It's just about to come down to the ground. Remember, there's going to be a different lag of a few seconds on each of these cams. Notice the circles on the radar are the same as you're seeing now. That's a huge couplet, a well-defined couplet right there. I think we're on the ground. It's hard to tell, but I think that's debris and dust that you're seeing. We are on the ground, it looks like. Yeah, we got a tornado on the ground. It's a wedge. Urbana, North Dakota, take shelter now that you are next up for this thing, and it's on the ground. Look at those shots. Look at the upper right. Holy shit. We've got a large wedge tornado, and it's on the ground. That is textbook, ladies and gentlemen. We have a textbook tornado right now. Look at the shots we're getting of this thing. These guys are amazing. Every storm chaser has a shot of this tornado right now. All 8 of them. From 8 different angles. You're watching this thing live. This is Starship Adventures, guys. Thank you for being here. This is what we do here. God, I wish I was there. Holy shit. Holy shit. I hope nobody's in front of this thing. Well, there you go. You get the idea. That's what the coverage looks like when we get really into it, when there's something going on. We also will, when we have the civil unrest going on, I'll have as many as 9 screens up. I even cover myself up if I can find enough feeds. And I'll have 9 feeds up on the whole screen here. We go to the civil unrest grid, which is this one here. We go to like a 9 screen. And so, yeah, I mean, I have the ability to cover this any way we got to cover it. I use OBS Studios. And I composite all of this down here in Starship Studios using a Ryzen 9 12-core supercomputer that I built myself from the ground up. And that computer right there is what keeps us going. Hey, Joseph, welcome aboard. Appreciate you coming in tonight and joining the Starship crew. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get back to the main grid. I know there's not a lot going on tonight. I am going to only be on a short time tonight, guys. The numbers are great tonight, too, so I'm staying on for a little while with you guys. but I'm very tired. I've been up for days. Um, Custom build on computers always better. You'll never ever buy the computer you want. I'm telling you. Even these, you'll see these $2,500 gaming systems. It's still not how I would have done it. I would. So I build my own, and a friend of mine and I built that Linux one over there. And that one's moving over here tomorrow because we're going to be setting up to do simulcasting on Saturday. Saturday is setting up to be a big day. I've got Chicago scanner on that, a Chicago scanner on the purple computer. I got the Baltimore scanner on the pink computer. I got the LA scanner with the call tracker on, what is that, the blue computer. And then the green computer, I got the rail fan. That's probably going to come down. That's like tracking the trains in the Northeast. It's not catching on, so I'm probably going to get rid of that. And I've also got the Florida Amateur Radio one. I'm probably going to repurpose all of them into big city scanner feeds for Saturday. And I'm going to try to pick the 6 or 7 towns that I'm pretty sure we're going to have Unrest in. And then I'm going to go in, and this is what I do. I actually have zone maps for each of these towns. And I'll go in and I'll see where the protesting is planning to be. And I'll pick the zones. And I'll also look for citywide and tactical channels. But I do not add all of the suburbs and everything else because I want to get the traffic that has to do with that. Those will then go out over all these. We use QCast technology, which, believe it or not, a friend of mine and I wrote this program. I spec'd it. He got it written and working, and it actually works. QCast actually records the scanner feeds, and then as there's a moment to play it back, it plays it back. So in other words, it's constantly recording, and it records it, and it remembers which department it was. And then 10 seconds later, a minute later, whenever it gets a chance, whenever it's next in the queue, as we call it, then it will play, and it will put up the display of what channel it is or what city it is you're listening to. What's neat about that is no duplicate transmissions, no left and right ear anymore. And also, you never miss a thing, because if someone's saying something important while someone else is saying something not important, doesn't matter, because you're going to hear both. This queues everything up, so you get to hear everything. Our tagline, and we are going to be releasing this for public consumption, our tagline on this software is QCast, never miss a thing. And that is literally, we built it so that we would have a great program to do this kind of stuff with, and that's where we're literally at with this. The program's working great. We're in we're in final beta right now, and I'm going to be using it on 5 or 6 or 7 different computers this weekend. And then those computer feeds that have all the scanners will all be feeding into this computer, so I can take live scanner from wherever things are happening from. I also can take natural sound from any of the squares on my screen. They come up as individual pots or sliders, and so I can literally turn them up and down separately. So the coverage, Michelle, I'm doing better tonight. Yes, thank you very much. Sorry about last night. I was gonna say it jerked me off, but I didn't want to put a pun in there. It really made me mad last night. So we fixed it. It's all good now. I've appointed some mods, and if you guys hang around for a few weeks, I'll make you one too. I just need to get to know you a little bit. Yeah, that's that Sledgen. That's a good one. Yeah, I'll tell you what, when I went to the Rosin 9, the 12 core, oh my God. I can, like right now, I'm compositing a bunch of video and all this. I'm only using 35-40% of my CPU. And I'm only using, and I've got 6 screens on this computer, and I'm still not using all my GPU because I put a really big, nice sound. I spent more money on the video card, I think, than I spent on anything else. Yeah, as long as you have a good GPU, you can put as many monitors as that or those GPUs can handle. You can even stack GPUs now. You can put one in for these 3 screens and one in for these 3 screens, and it works. Yeah, there's no, you cannot ever buy a computer to do what I'm doing. If you do, you're going to spend $5,000, $4,000, $3,000 on something, and it's not something you built or that you know how to fix. Let me tell you something. Everybody in this chat room can build a computer. It's so easy. The hardest part's those little black plugs for the box that plugs into the little pins on the bottom of the motherboard. That's the only hard part. The rest of it, you just follow the directions, watch a video, turn it on, and you're all set to go, man. I'll tell you guys, I'm going to give you guys my secret to building computers, and I'm sure a lot of you already know this. But there is a, let me get the website, and as I always do, I'm going to put it right in the chat room. PC Part Picker. That's what I use. I go into PC Part Builder, PC Part Picker, and I'll show you real quick here. Whoops. Yeah, here we go. All right, this one here. This is PC Part Picker, and what's really cool about this, I'll blow it up just a little bit more. What's really cool about this is all you go in here and you pick your CPU, and here, look at this. They've got all the latest prices. Hey Michelle, thank you for joining. Welcome aboard the crew. Welcome aboard the ship as part of the crew. Thank you very much. Yeah, you can see the prices right there, guys. So if I want this Ryzen 9 right here, okay, $649, I can add that. I just click add, and look, it adds it right there, and it tells me where the cheapest place is to get it, and I just have to click the buy button. But it gets even better than that. Look what else you hold on, I didn't hit the button. See, there's my Ryzen 9. I got it stuck in there, okay? And now when I go to CPU, when I go to cooler, it will only bring up coolers that will work with my chip, with my whatever I'm at. So, okay, so let's say I want this one here, this Cool Master for 25 bucks. Look at this. It's given me all the different places I can buy it with the prices and everything else. So let's say we'll just get it at Amazon. So I click that, and look, it brings me right to the Amazon page so that I can make the purchase. I mean, that's really cool. All right, so from here, and let's see here. How do I get back? Okay, so you have to go down and pick. Now I want to pick a motherboard, but I have to pick a motherboard that's going to work with my chip. It's only going to show me motherboards that work with my chip. That's what's really great about it. So let's say we want this first one here. I click it, and there we go. Add to parts list. There we go. Let me go back and do that cooler again because it didn't take. I'm going to buy this cooler. Click it there. Add to parts list. And look, I'm building my computer. What memory? Well, it's got to be memory that fit. Oh, don't worry about it. It's only going to show you memory that works with that particular build. So let's say, okay, I've got Corsair memory. Let's go that. Choose that Corsair memory. Add the parts list. And look at this. I'm building my whole computer right here, and I didn't have to look up a single thing. Is this board compatible with this chip? Is this chip compatible with this cooler? Is this cooler compatible? You don't have to do any of that. All you do is you just go in here and you make it all up. Look, it even gives you an estimated wattage, and it'll also print out full details on all this stuff, like a spec sheet for you. You can add additional memory. You can choose your storage medium. Let's say we're going to do this one right here. Boom. So there we go. We're building a whole computer here. And you can go down the bottom. There we're at $1,200 right now. Of course, I could do a lot better than this. I could probably build a whole computer for under $1,000 that would be every bit as good as this one. I'm just picking like the first thing I choose here, so don't look at anything specific. But okay, here we go. Video card. These get expensive. Look at this. There's a $3,200 video card. Most of us don't need that. Most of us can get by with something like this, and we can just throw that on there for right now. So there you go. You can see I've got my whole build here. And then look at this down here. Here's my motherboard usage. Here's all my socket information. Isn't that amazing? I love this program. And there's your part list price histories. You can go back and look up, you know, each part that you're ordering and how expensive it is, or when it was more expensive or less expensive. Anyway, and then also they got the overview. They also have prices by merchant. This shows you can buy everything at Amazon, or you can buy everything at Best Buy, or everything at Newegg. If you got a specific place you like to buy your computer components, you can do that. Or it'll give you the cheapest one, and you can order. I ordered mine from the cheapest place. I didn't care. I ordered one thing from Newegg, one thing from eBay, and everything else came from Amazon. See this? You can export a part list. That's your part list there. It's all kinds of stuff you can do here. You can save these so you can go back and keep working on it. It even gives you here, look at this. It gives you all the estimated wattages. You know, if you build computers, this is a must, this website. I mean, this is literally how I do it. Okay, so enough of that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bore you guys. Let's get back to this. There's nothing to show you on here anyway, so. All right. Any other questions on the PC part picker stuff? I'll be glad to answer any additional questions you might have on that. Yeah, yeah, it was. 2 monitors is bare minimum. I've got 2 monitors on almost all of my computers. Now I have 2 of them that took a lightning strike, and everything still works on the computer except both of the display ports went out. But the SVGA port still works, so I'm using them with a single screen. But I got 6 monitors on this one. I'm gonna have 2 on the Linux. And I got 2 on all these over here. Each has 2 monitors. When you're doing broadcasting, you need at least 2 monitors. There's no way I could do this here without 4. Now, that big one back there, I'm not using it. I can put whatever I want up there. But these 4 in front of me and the one here, I use a lot. And I'm thinking about reconfiguring a little bit here so I can actually get more screen right in front of my face. That's true, Dominic. I installed I've got a fairly clean version of Windows 10 that's probably 7 or 8 years old, and I install that. It's a pro version. I install it into every computer, and the first thing I do is firewall. I use the Microsoft firewall to firewall Microsoft, and then I go through the 4-step process of completely disabling Microsoft Windows updates. I do not do any updates on anything. All of these computers are running basically native the way they came. They're the way when I put the operating system on. And when I have a problem with one of them, I dump it and reload that operating system back on there. And it works. This whole thing about them scaring you about Windows 10 is out of warranty now. Windows 10 is out of support. No, it's bullshit. Don't worry about it. I'll be using these computers for another 5 years. Now, because Windows 11 sucks ass. Now, if you guys are someone that spends a lot of time on the dark webs or spends a lot of time doing BitTorrents and downloading programs and doing exploratory stuff, maybe questionable gray area type stuff, you might want Windows 11 and a good Windows Defender and a good antivirus. That's fine. But for people like me that literally just, I do what I do with the computer, but I don't ever go to the dark side of the computer. I don't want to. I almost have a phobia about it. I just like to come in and do what I do. I just do all legal stuff on here. It's fun. Yes, XP was the best Windows there ever was, and probably will be. And 7 was good. 8 was a freaking disaster. 10's good. 11's a disaster. It's every other one. Every other Windows operating system that's come out has been garbage. You can go back. 1 was good. 2 was bad. 3.1.1 for Workgroup was good. You can go all the way back. 95 was bad. 98 was good. My God, you can run the whole gambit. But yeah, it's every other one. Every other release is garbage. I only do every other release of Windows. Everything was 7. Now everything is 10. I don't go in the intermediate ones. I don't like that. All right. Real quick, I'm going to go pretty soon, so I'm going to go ahead and start showing you these couple of other things that I need to show you. Let's see if I can just put it right here. There's not much to show you other than I was running the models earlier, and this one kind of scared me. It's awfully late in the season to be seeing stuff like this. So I was like, okay, that's not good. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to put it down here in the window for you guys. Oh Christ, I can't see the top of it. Oh God. Shit. Never mind. Let me go freaking back. Everything has got to be totally difficult for me, or it's just not worth it. Jesus. Shouldn't have to do this for every damn graphic I want to show. What a pain in the ass. All right, here we go. This is the GFS model, the American model, and and we're going to run this forward. Now, I want you to watch what's going to go on here, okay? Notice the one here just literally goes up and out. It's done. It's no big deal. Get my epic pin up. And then we run this thing forward. Like I said, none of the other models are really showing this too much yet, although some are starting to show the beginning of it. Oh, it put it way over there this time. Every time I load that, it puts it on a different window. All right, so here we go. This one down here is a nothing burger. It goes out, it's done. This thing up here, it's done. It's heading out as well. So none of those mean a thing. Where I want you guys to watch is down here in this area in the Caribbean. All right, I want you to watch what happens as we run this forward. Now we're running this way forward. This is not what's going to happen, but it's showing you guys a possibility down the road of some instability here in the Caribbean. I thought hurricane season was over until I saw this today. So I'm going to run this forward. This is October 18th, October 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, and there you go. There's Genesis on October 25th in the morning. That's why I said this is a week out. So you really can't. You just got to kind of take it with a grain of salt, but know it. Now watch what happens to it. It deepens. Cat 1 hurricane. Cat 2. Cat 3. Cat 3 hurricane. Major hurricane. That could be a Cat 4 easy. 930 millibars. 927 millibars. 924 millibars. That's hitting the southern coast of Cuba at nearly a 4 or a 5. I don't even think that's possible this time of year, folks. But for this model to be this absolutely aggressive, it's crazy right now. Man. Yes, I know there's a lot of humming. It's the air conditioner. I'm actually working on some programming right now that's going to remove that from my audio signal. I have to run the air in here because with all these computers, it runs constantly. Is it louder than normal? Because normally it blanks most of it out. Yeah, I think we're going to come into an aggressive La Nina. That seems to be what's going to happen. No, life's not too expensive in Fort Myers. What you have to remember in Fort Myers is you know, that it's a right to work state. There's no big unions down here. The taxes are low. There's no income tax, no state income tax. The property taxes are low. I pay a couple $100 a year for property taxes. I just renewed my driver's license for 8 years. It was $52. Things are fairly cheap here compared to other places. I know that you can live in places like Baltimore or Chicago or New York and easily pay 20% more of your salary in taxes than we pay here. So in that respect, it's pretty cheap. And the price here seems to be going up on everything, but that was all that Biden inflation. And that's kind of been stunned now, and I'm hoping that it doesn't get any worse. But yeah, I think it's a fairly cheap place to live when you compare it to a bunch of these very liberal places that are very expensive. Anyway, let's finish running this model out. 924 millibars. That's like what Ian was when it hit here. I mean, that's crazy. 924 again, 931, and it crosses Cuba and goes out over Nassau, Bahamas. And it stays a Cat 3 hurricane as it exits. So just like I said, this is nothing you should go like start calling people and getting your hurricane supplies ready. I'm just, for the American model, which is the best performing model right now, for that model to show a Cat 4 hurricane sitting on the southern coast of Cuba in 14 days. Like I said, it's not what's going to happen, but for it to pick up on that and show that, I don't think hurricane season's over yet. We've got to watch closely for the next couple weeks. I thought it was over, guys. I really did. The water temperatures are even coming down, and but hey. Oh, good, Dominic. Yes. Yeah, you build it like a Lego. You literally just go down and pick your parts, and when it comes in, you just follow the directions, watch YouTube videos, and build it yourself. You'll never get a computer like this. I built this computer for $1,000. Now it'd probably be like $1,300 today. But I bought this. I bought all the parts and I built it. I built it live on a show. You can actually go back and watch the show I built it on if you go find it. I've got over 1,000 videos. It's getting hard to kind of find stuff. I built Linux machines on the air. I've built Windows machines on the air. So yeah, I love doing stuff like that. Isn't that weird, Deploribus, that they're so sure that they know what's going to happen in 100 years, but they're really not sure what's going to happen in 7 days. And they would argue that's the difference between climate and weather, and I would tell them, let's see here. Yeah, we'll have to see, Sledgen, because I don't know. Um, some modeling was showing a pretty cold winter, especially for the Northeast. So I'm not sure. Could be, could be, could be. I don't know. All right, so that's hurricanes. There's not a whole lot else going on. Let's see here. Let me do just a quick check around. Lots of earthquakes today. Holy crap, look at that, huh? Lots of earthquakes today. The big one here, a 5.3 on the Solomon Islands. All the way back up there again. Here we go. Kamchatka, the peninsula there in Russia. Back up there again today, 4.3. This cluster up here just persists. It persists. This is where that big wave came from. The tsunami. Remember, we had the warning. We were up all night. We stayed live on this channel till 4 o'clock Eastern because we thought 4 a.m. Eastern because we thought there might be a tsunami, and we stayed alive. And it came from this region right here. Kamchatka, whatever, and then let's see, there's some down here off the coast of northern Chile. They've been having some stuff down there. This has been going on for a little while, and then of course there's always something over here. Believe it or not, there's been quite a bit of cluster of minor activity. Notice they're all little circles, but right, circled around basically just north of the British Virgin Islands is where it's mostly centered. East of San Juan, Puerto Rico. So there's that, but that probably will never amount to anything. What's this? Let's see, where was this at? Texas, Mexico border region. 2.9, that's a little one. There's that big one down in Drake Passage from last week. All right, so that's it. Not crazy. Not crazy. I'm not aware of any volcanoes going absolutely berserk right now. I haven't done a lot of research just today, but I'm not aware of anything. Feel free, if you guys want, you can post articles, you can post pictures, post all that stuff on Discord. Please put it in the right category. The general is for anything just about the show or during the show. The tab that says breaking news only, please only paste in there an article that is an incident of magnitude. Okay, meaning a big mass shooting or a big incident, a big huge wave or some crazy shit, a big huge earthquake, something I would probably go live for. Stick it in breaking news only, and that alerts my phone. And then the rest of them are space weather, earth weather, all the different ones all the way down, ham radio, science, all of them. And you can go in there. Please feel free to propagate those with stories. I'm wanting to get that going as like a story aggregator for all the kind of stuff that we do here on the channel. It seems like we're always covering protests, but we do more than that. We do pursuits and manhunts, and we also do a lot of stuff like I showed you guys earlier with storm chasing and things like that. So we're very busy in here with all kinds of different stuff, and we go live whenever it breaks, as long as I'm not at work on another broadcast. That's the only catch there. Yes, Clearwater Beach just dropping down to about 80. There is the temperatures are dropping fairly rapidly now as the sun gets a lower angle in the sky, and we move past the equinox here, and the nights are getting longer, the days are getting shorter, and the water is getting cooler. Fantasy Fest has live cameras. Yes, I know. And I don't know how I'm doing that this year. Carlotta has always covered that in the past, and I'm not sure if they're doing anything with that this year. If Carlotta is a friend, and if she's going to be doing it, anything with it, then I'll leave it alone. However, if she's not doing anything with it, I may go ahead and pick some of that up. I'm not sure. Boy, that's coming up quick. That's like in 3 days it starts. I guess I'll find out about that and I'll let you guys know. It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to watch. It's just people having a good time. And if you're going to dress up and be freaks, I say go do it somewhere where everybody's having a good time dressing up and being freaks, and not out in Portland at a protest. Yeah, Fantasy Fest is a fun time. You do have to be accepting of everything, and you do, but even fairly straight-laced folks that are straight can go there and have a great time too. It's not just for gays or just for cross-dressers, just for trans. You can be anybody. You don't have to be an LGBTQIA2S+. You can be any of the other ones too. And it's really cool because it's very accepting down there, and people have a lot of fun down there. And you see some of the funnest costumes down there, and we just sit around and laugh. It's funny. So we may do some of that. How about Stargate? I love Stargate. Stargate is my second favorite science fiction franchise of all times. It's amazing. I think they got 17 seasons and 4 movies. It is the second largest science fiction franchise too. Has a lot more screen time than even Star Wars franchise has. And Stargate's set in our time, but it's a space show, which I always thought was really cool. And it involves our Air Force and things like that. So yeah, I love Star Trek, or Stargate. I'm sorry, Richard Dean Anderson. I think that show, if you have never given it a chance, you have missed a true gem of a show. It started out on Sci-Fi. It started out on Showtime. It was originally a movie with Kurt Russell in it, and the movie is all about how they got the Stargate working, and then they go to Abydos, and that's where they meet Scar and all the other ones and everything. Well, anyway, after they made that movie, it was such a success that Showtime decided they were going to produce this as a recurring show. This was a time when paid movie channels were starting to fray into episodic television, okay? And this was one of the shows they did. There's actually boobies in the first few episodes if you get the uncut. Very brief nudity, it's no big deal. But they did that because it was on Showtime. And then the following season, I think it switched over to Sci-Fi Channel, I think, picked it up and made the rest of it. But what an amazing show. Just the whole idea is, if you've never watched it, they find this big ring, okay? And we call it a Stargate. Everybody else in the universe calls it a Chapa-I. And this thing is huge, and you can literally walk through it, or even in a small enough ship, you can fly through it. And what it does is it dials like a telephone, and you can dial up another Stargate somewhere in our universe, and you can walk into the gate, and it takes you instantly. You travel through a wormhole to the other side, and you walk out of a gate that looks identical on the other side. So when they shot the show, they had a gate in the studio, and then they had a gate that they would bring out and set up. It was made out of styrofoam. They'd bring it and set it up out in a field or in a woods or somewhere, wherever the team was going that week. And then the team would walk out of the Stargate, and that's where they were that week. What a great show. What a really great show. I just can't say enough good stuff about it. Yeah, it's a great show. And there's other ones. I'll tell you, if I was going to pick a third franchise, Battlestar Galactica, the original's great, but the one they made with almost, why can't I remember his name? Anyway, the captain, the admiral there, Richard James almost, something like that. I can't. I've totally can't remember his name. I've just had a stroke or something. But he's amazing in that, and that is an amazing series. The whole series is just amazing. There's so much good sci-fi out there, and I'll meet somebody that's like, "Hey, I'm a Doctor Who guy. I never really got into Star Trek," and I'm like, "How about Stargate?" No. How about Battlestar Galactica? No. But you're into Doctor Who. It's like you've missed all the really good sci-fi. I never could get into Who. It was always kind of cheap, and the rules were really flippant, and there was a lot of magic and bullshit and fantasy. And I'm really a staunch science fiction guy. I really don't like science fantasy. Thor. Yes, mine too, probably. I think so, yeah. Thor turns out to be a gray alien, which is kind of cool. Spoiler alert. And he ends up becoming a friend. He's a good guy. And the little gray aliens, they improved over the years on the show. You know, their ability to make the gray aliens. Yes. Yeah, it's hard to find those original episodes. It's not a lot of nudity. It was brief and non-sexual. They were showing off women to the god or whatever. It was not a big deal. Yeah, they did. They fixed those first ones so they were all TV ready. There was a few swear words too. I think they dubbed out. Not much. They were trying to make it a little grittier than TV, but not too bad. And then they just had to go back and kind of smooth it back out again, so that it could show on a regular cable television channel. I don't think Stargate's ever been on broadcast TV, which is a shame. It never quite got the audience I thought it deserved. You guys know it has 10 seasons, and then they have Stargate Atlantis with 5 seasons, and then Stargate Universe, which has 2 seasons, plus a feature-length movie that started the whole thing, and I believe 2 or 3 feature-length movies at the end. I know there's Ark of the Covenant. There's the one about the one where there's a really cool one where this guy, he goes back in time and he messes up us finding the Stargate, which changes the whole timeline. What a great movie that was. Was it on Fox broadcast for a while? I'm glad to hear that. I wasn't sure. Turns out it was a documentary. BJ, I've always thought that. The Stargate Command is actually below NORAD, is where it is. Yes, Lauren Green was the original Admiral Adama, and he's great. I love him as an actor. I didn't watch a lot of Westerns, but he was great in the Westerns he did. He was a star of one of the big ones. Was it Gunsmoke, I think. I remember Highlander. I didn't watch it much, but I do remember it. I watched a lot of things once, but there's only a few things that I'm really into enough to watch a bunch of times. July 1997, Stargate premiered. I hate to lose you guys, because if you start watching Firefox, you probably won't come back here and waste your time with me. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming in tonight. Great numbers tonight. I think we fixed that algorithm problem. I think this fixed the algorithm problem. I really do. All right, before I sign off, and I am going to sign off here in about 15 or 20 minutes. You guys have to let me. I got to go. I'm so tired. But I do want to go over one more time the coverage plan for Saturday as it's shaping up here. because, as you know, I give you guys a look behind the curtain. What I'm doing right now is I'm working on setting up the Linux machine over here in the next couple of days so that I will be able to have my image and my sound on both systems at the same time. And that way I'll be able to host the coverage on both machines. And I can do it either as a simulcast or I could just do it on one machine or the other. I want to be set up and ready to go because this could get really big. We could have a mess in Chicago and a mess in Detroit and a mess in Baltimore. We don't know. We know there's not going to be a mess in DC because they got the crime under control in DC. Anunnaki. Yes, there was look, the entire what I find neat about Stargate, besides everything else I've already told you, here's the bottom line. It's based on the Egyptian pyramids, the Mayan pyramids, mostly Egyptian, and the Egyptian pyramids, the pyramid was where the Stargate was kept. Now, it wasn't there when we found the pyramid because it had been moved and everything, but it was still here on the planet. But the pyramids were where the pyramids were landing pads for the big spacecraft. The Hatak would land right on top of the pyramid. So, okay, so Free Pluto TV and Amazon Prime both hosting Stargate currently. They have a door at NORAD, and it has an official tag on it that says Stargate Command, and it's an homage to the show. I don't know, another thing that you may or may not know, the military cooperated in the use of, in the making of Stargate, and actually they actually hired retired Army guys constantly to always be there to make sure they were holding the guns right, they were shooting right. Anytime they did anything, if they pulled out C4 and a detonator, it was done the way it was done in the military. I mean, everything they do it's pretty meticulous. Even like I read something that Marita Sirtis wrote. She played Deanna Troi on Star Trek: The Next Generation. She's actually in an episode as a Russian, and she talks about how particular they were about how every military, she had a Russian chute, she had Russian boots on, she had Russian uniform, everything she wore. She goes, I was very surprised at how meticulous they were. She says right down to the fact that everybody wore one kind of gas mask, and they go, no, you have to have this kind of gas mask because you're Russian. And everything was like very meticulous. And I remember her reading about her, talking about her time on Stargate and how different it was than Star Trek, because Star Trek's all future stuff. But Stargate was made in this timeline, in the current day at the time, with 1997 through 2007 technology. And because of that, they would go out and find other technology. They'd find the Zatnikitel that they started. A lot of them were carrying the Zatnikitel because it would fire a lot more than a gun would, and it had the ability to stun and kill. There was just a lot of neat things. The staff weapons were amazing. Those staff weapons, every time they shot somebody with a staff weapon, they had to have a stuntman that shot the staff weapon because it actually did things right at the end of it that make fire or whatever. And then on the other end, the guy that got shot, they had a hook on him that would pull him backwards because the force from those things was amazing. And then it would blow a hole in the guy and it would go everywhere and there'd be fire. And of all the sci-fi shows, the weapon hits of those staff weapons are probably the most impressive of any sci-fi show ever. Just, you know, the sound of the shoo shoo with them coming by and the big huge orange yellow bolts of energy coming by. And fatal almost all the time, unless one of the heroes got hit by it. Then of course it wasn't fatal. But a boy and his dog. Yes, several times on the show, they'll be showing a 4-star general, this new plane that they confiscated from the Goa'uld or whoever. And you find out when you read the credits, General so-and-so played himself. They did that several times. The guy with the green hat's he's just a homeless guy that's hoping they're going to feed everybody tonight. You want to hear what he's saying? Let's see what he's saying.
Prove it. Because it's a ridiculous claim. Because it's a ridiculous claim. Yeah, so why did you have to go to court over it? Good. I went to court over fucking dog. Prove it. Show me. Show me. I want to see that, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, you're good. Yeah. I'm doing good. Yeah.
It's not even a protest. It's a few guys just hanging out down there where a protest might show up at some point tonight. I don't know. Yeah. I agree, BJ. Oh, yeah. V, the final battle, I was like, whoa. Yeah, that was good. V, if you're into 80s sci-fi, V is amazing. Watch the original miniseries. Skip the TV show because they only shot half a season and canceled it. Skip it. And then watch the second half, or the second miniseries called V, the Final Battle. So watch V, the miniseries, and then immediately just watch V, the Final Battle, and you will find that to be some enjoyable television. They did a really good job. It's the guy from Beastmaster that's in it. Really good actors in it. I thought that was a really well done sci-fi, especially when they were ripping the mask off, the faces off of the lizards and stuff. For the time, it looked real. I mean, it was actually pretty good. And so, yeah, V was great. V was great. I used to go back, and I still do. I did it about 7 or 8 years ago. I'll get a hair at my ass and go pull something like that up and just watch it again. And I did that about 6 or 8 years ago. I watched V, just like I told you. I did not go back and watch that horrible attempt at a cheap TV show. But I did go back and watch the 2 miniseries back to back, and I've really enjoyed them yet again. Yeah, V is awesome. That's funny. My radar, my flight radar will pick up most fighter jets. However, they have the ability to turn off my ability. So, in other words, they're supposed to leave those on, the 1080 transmitters or whatever they are, the IDS, whatever it is. They're supposed to leave that on all the time. However, the moment something happens or they go into a war mode, they can flip a switch and that thing's off and we don't see them anymore. What it is, it's a transponder. Every plane has one. It's required. And that transponder every few seconds or every second sends out your altitude, your latitude, your longitude, your forward airspeed, and your barometric pressure. It gives all this data in like a line of data. Well, I can pick that up here in my shack. I actually have a 1080 megahertz antenna, and I have an STR RTL STR that is all set up, and I also bought the filter that goes on it. Hook all that together, put my little antenna up on the outside, and I can pick up radar quite from far away. If I put my little SDR box out with the antenna and I put the antenna up on my 20-foot mast out here, I can pick up planes in Tampa, over Tampa, at flight altitude. So it's pretty cool. But That's a big pain in the ass when I pay for flight radar, $40 a year, flight radar 24, and that's what I use on the show is flight radar 24, and I like it. I think it works really good. Let's see, don't I have it up here somewhere? I pay for these things because I use them, you know, in broadcasting. So I go ahead and pay for them, which is another thing. What I make on YouTube is barely even covering these expenses, but that's why I do this as a labor of love. All right, so here we go. Let me log in real quick, and then I'm going to show you what this looks like. There we go. All right, give me just a second. You know how it is. I want to show you the whole screen, so I'm moving my marks out so I can show you guys the whole screen, and you can see what all the different things it does. Flight radar is pretty cool because it allows you to track multiple flights and all kinds of neat stuff like that. All right, here we go. Let's stick this right here. Oh boy, we're being a pain in the ass. See, I'm tired, which means everything's kind of a pain in my ass. All right, so here we go. In the smaller window, this is what it looks like. And over here, you got all your settings, and you can go in and turn stuff on and off, and designate how you want everything to look on the screen. And but this is it right here. This is Radar Omega, and it does track military planes. And they will look like military planes. And they look like whatever you're tracking. That's a little single engine plane. There you go. It shows you the picture of it, tells you all the information about it. And I use this for coverage too. Like when we've got a manhunt going on and I've got 3 different choppers up, I switch the map into multi-select mode like this. And then I can go in there and I can choose all the aircraft that are currently fighting the fire or whatever it is that they're doing. Because I use this for fire coverage too. But I could literally go in here and click all the planes that are involved and you can see all their tracks. It's really cool. It's a great broadcast tool, just like Radar Omega, because it allows me to demonstrate things pretty easily on the screen for you guys. I used to play flight sim every now and then, yeah. I never really got into it. Yeah, Diana, boy, she was a bitch in that show, wasn't she? Oh, man. Yeah, Stargate, I don't know. I just think it was good television. That's why it's kind of hung around. But it never did get its due, in my opinion. I think it deserves to be right up there below Star Trek, and not like fading into obscurity like it seems like it is. I'm sure that if you own a private plane, that you could put a switch or something so that you could disconnect your transmitter that sends out this information, and that would be another felony crime once they catch you. You have to have that on. It's a felony. But they don't care about shit like that. They're running drugs. All right. But yeah, we can do this. Look at look at this when I zoom out. Watch what happens. Look at all the planes. Isn't that cool? Shows everything that's going on. I go over here to Florida. And choppers will actually look like choppers. There's not a lot of them up at night. There's one right there. Click on that and it will show you the chopper. It'll show you a picture of it. What is it? Who it's registered to. This one is Bayflight. This is a medical chopper. And you can see here he's circling an LZ getting ready to land. Something else you can do with this program that you can't do with most other programs is, let's see if I can get it to come back up here. There we go. Where's it at? Oh, I click on here, and then, oh, I know what I gotta do. I gotta take it out of multi-select. Okay, so I click on I go off of multi-select, I click on here. Now watch this. I can put it in 3D mode, and now it will show me what that chopper pilot is seeing out the windshield. Now, it's a representation, it's not live, of course, but but it's showing you what he would basically see using the available satellite maps. And here we go, there's the LZ, he's coming in for a landing. Isn't that cool, guys? I love flight radar. That's why I paid for it. I'm like, oh, I gotta have this because what a cool thing. Look at this. I mean, you can see right where he's landing and everything. I just think it's cool as shit. Yep, it's pretty cool. Well, there's some big ones out there. There's a big old FedEx plane. That's an Airbus A300 F4 right there. That's a big plane. Let's see here. There's some choppers. I wonder what they got going on over here tonight. So I can go back to multi-select. Oh, he disappeared. Where'd he go? See, these are mostly med choppers. Sometimes it's hard to tell. They can be privately owned. Sometimes the privately owned ones don't come up because they're privately owned and they're suppressed somehow. There's a chopper there. Boy, he flew a long way. He left from Savannah in a chopper, and he's way up here now. That's a long run for a chopper now. Wonder where he's going. That's a long ass run for a chopper. But anyway, this is Flight Radar 24. Very good website. And you can use it for free. It'll reset every 20 minutes or something. And you don't have much of the features, but you can still do a lot of the stuff I just showed you. Oh, the Janet flights. Yes, you can go out to out there to Area 51, and you can actually track the Janet flights on there. Which, for those of you who don't know, the people that work at Area 51 don't drive to Area 51. They drive to a town and they get on a unmarked airplane that uses the call sign Janice and or Janet's, and those flights fly back and forth every 20 minutes or so. And what they're doing is they're bringing all the people to and from work at Area 51. Yeah, there you go. Oh, look, there's some balloons up. Look at that. That's that balloon's flight. High altitude balloon. It's at 58,000 feet. There's another one up here. These are weather balloons. They're not manned. That one's at 66,000 feet. Some of these might be pico balloons, amateur radio pico balloons. That's what Biden was shooting down out there after that Chinese balloon went by. Remember the Chinese balloon went by and he didn't shoot it down because he didn't know what to do. And then finally, he does shoot it down. Finally, it took 5 days to make the decision. He kept asking the auto pin and it wouldn't tell him what to do. And so finally he shoots it down. And then a couple days later, they use about $500,000 worth of missiles to shoot down 2 balloons, one over Canada, one over Washington State. You remember that? They were both amateur radio pico balloons. They were on the amateur radio tracking map when they were shot. So we took 5 days to shoot the first one. The second and the third one we shot down without even checking the pico site to see if they might be ham radio balloons and shit. Real idiot stick. Yeah, it's a busy planet. Look at all the planes coming and going from Florida. See this line right here? That's all people moving here from New York. We're going to get 2 more of their congressional seats in 5 years. Very cool. All right, guys. Anything else? What else can I help you guys with? I'll stay a few more minutes, put something in the chat room, and I will respond to it. I said I was only going to do 30 minutes tonight. It looks like you're going to get the full 2 hours out of me. But I'm fine because I can sleep as long as I need to tonight. Tonight's my recovery night. I don't have to get up tomorrow. I just have to get up, straighten up in here, move a couple computers, and do some of that kind of stuff tomorrow. It seems like that, Deploribus. I was saying that at the time. It seems like they want the balloon to finish its mission and then shoot it down. Didn't make sense to me. Isn't it amazing? Anyway, I'll show you guys something else real quick just before I go here. Let me get this up. Give me a second. Okay, I want to show you guys something. This was from 9/11, and this is really cool in a way because you can see what happened that day. But what I'm about to show you is the aircraft tracking map from 9/11. This is 9/11 tracking 3,000 flights. And it's showing you here what's going on. This is when the flights were leaving. Okay, now all 4 of your planes are in the air. And then there's the first one hits the tower. We still don't know what's going on. And then there we go, second tower strike. And then boom. There's your issue. There's your tier 1 ground stop. No more takeoffs. There it is, national ground stop. That means no one is allowed to take off. Everybody must find closest landing. And there you go. FAA closes airspace to the United States. Now watch what happens to the map. Is that spooky or what? that's it. That airspace stayed closed for days. Do you remember that? I mean, that literally, that airspace stayed closed for days. Here's the whole thing through without the stops. Oh, hold on. Let me put it back up. Let me run this back. Here's the whole thing right here. This is the whole thing through without stops. Here we go. And you can see they issued the ground stop right there. Everybody goes to the nearest airport and lands. And the nation is an airplane parking lot. Is that amazing or what? I saw that a while back and like, wow, I gotta show my peeps that. It didn't show. Well, I'll run it again. Here it is. It shows that it's showing on this end, so I don't know. It shows that it's showing, but there you go. That's what it looked like on that day. Right, I'll show you right when it happens. Right there, ground stop issued. Isn't that crazy? Did everybody see it that time? Okay, good. I'm sorry if I didn't. Must have hit the button or something. All right, very good. I just, yeah, there you go. That's what it looked like on 9/11. One of the few times ever that our airspace was completely closed, if ever. I think it was the only time ever. Okay. Oh, Rug Ops, trust me, there was a time when I studied every controversy, every theory, every conspiracy, everything you could ever imagine on 9/11. I almost freaked myself out. And you know what? Well, the more you study it, the more you realize that what happened is pretty much what happened. Now, if you want to tell me that there was other forces involved, other people doing this, whatever, I'll listen to it. But the facts, the facts as they are laid out are pretty much the facts as they happened that day. Victor, I'm not sure. I can go look. I have a real sick one right now that's disappeared on me. I hope she's okay. They usually come back. Let me see if I can see this out here. Hey, Shadow. You want to come in? Who else is up? You want to come in, big girl? Come on. Come on, big girl. Come on. It's okay. Oh, I know you're so big. This is my big Shadow Lynn. She was the one that got real sick and almost died 2 weeks ago. They've got a sinus thing going around. This is a big cat. She's a female and she's huge. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Shadow Lynn. All of our cats have a middle name. You're probably wondering, why do your cats all have two names? Well, how would they know they're in trouble? You know you're in trouble when your mom yells your middle name at you. Yeah. Yeah, they could have, but I don't even think that's necessary. It wouldn't take that much training, and they did get some. It wouldn't take that much training to hit something that big with something that big. Yeah, there you go. Oh, well, you just ran into my finger. You okay? She literally ran her face right into my finger. Are you all right? Did I hurt you? You okay? You still dealing with that, aren't you? She's still a little sick, I think. She's still getting cleared up. I can still smell a little infection from her sinuses. Yeah, I see deploribus. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I don't think it's necessary. It wouldn't have been necessary. Yeah, I just got sneezed on. It's all right. Cat dad. I am a cat dad. I never had real kids. I prefer these. They're a lot easier, and they don't smell as much, and they don't make as much noise. Yeah. Yes, the background is real. Absolutely, the background is real. And here is the full view of the studio from 3 different shots. And yeah, absolutely. I have 9 computer systems, 8 Windows 10 machines, and 1 Linux machine. 2 of them are supercomputers. What I use them for is broadcasting. You can go check out some of that on Starship After Dark, our other channel. If you just go over to Starship After Dark, you will see it. Throw a subscribe in there. But you'll see that we have all kinds of streams up. I got the New York scanner feed up. I've got the LA scanner feed up that's got the call tracker on it. Baltimore's up, Chicago's up, and I got the train tracker up right now. The amateur radio out of Florida and the 7.2 from ham radio. So there's a lot. All that's going out at the same time. We broadcast up to 9 simultaneous streams out of this room. So yeah, it absolutely is real. Wow. Simplex, I don't know, man. That's what I would do is start looking out for good boxes. I mean, seriously, find you some good boxes. But if you want to spend a little bit of money, cases have gotten fairly cheap. You can buy like knockoff waterproof cases for about $42 on Amazon right now. They make all kinds of cases on Amazon now that are actually cheaper than you would think. Stuff that normally would cost you $80 or $100 now for maybe 30 or 40 bucks. You just don't get the one that says Pelican. You get the one that says Big Job or something on it. Yeah, I don't know if my cats have ever. You ever drank green tea? No. I don't know. No, I didn't think so. Yeah. All right. Anything else, guys? I've been on for 2 hours now. I just crossed the 2-hour mark. Thank you, everybody that's come in. We've had over 1,000 participants tonight in the stream. I do really appreciate it. We're ramping up to coverage this weekend. So let me tell you how that goes real quick while I put this cat out because she's driving me nuts. Come on. Let's say a prayer for my little snotty kitty tonight. I don't know where she is ill and she's walked off. Yeah, when it comes to like packing or storing studio stuff, I prefer cases over like cardboard boxes for sure. If you just, I know money's tight, but if you know, just get what you can get. Deploribus, you're correct. It would have worked, but I just don't believe it would have been necessary. I mean, these guys easily, with 3 or 4 hours of training on a flight simulator, could easily take over an in-progress flight and fly it towards the 2 biggest things in the Northern Hemisphere. I mean, it's just, I'm not saying you're wrong. You could be right. It makes sense even. But on the flip side, they would not have needed the VFO to find those buildings, they would have been able to do it visually. They probably did not use the instrumentation on the plane at all. They went visual flight rules, VFR, and they just literally watched everything and flew it. They flew it from the seat of their pants, and they saw those buildings from 40 miles away or something. You could see those buildings, and there you go. But again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't think all that was necessary. A lot of times, especially in science, when you look at stuff like this, the easiest path with least resistance is often the path. And so that's why when I look at these things, when it's like, okay, well, this has to be placed in the building ahead of time, and it has to be powered, and it has to be, get a signal out or whatever, all that. Or is it even simpler just to believe that they saw the buildings on the horizon and they flew into them? All right, guys. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for the big crowd tonight. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And
come on, man.
It's been a fun night. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I will be back tomorrow night and every night until Saturday. And we'll keep covering what's going on every night. I'll have a regular show tomorrow for Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday, I'm going to be doing crazy coverage on Saturday. So expect it. It's going to be good. I'm going to be sitting out here. I've literally decided I'm going to bring the microwave and put it up on top of my TV up here, I think. Or maybe under the console over there. I haven't decided yet. But I want to bring my little microwave out here because my fridge is out here. And that way I can just make my meals and just stay out here. I don't have to go in the house. I'm trying to make it as efficient as possible out here. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining our community. Those of you who joined tonight, it's really important to us, when people join up with and become members of the community. As you know, on YouTube, the figures are everything. The numbers, the algorithms, it's everything. And so what you guys do is important. And thank you very much for that. All right, guys, live from Starship Studios in Southwest Florida. My name is Ian, and this has been the Sights and Sounds of Earth, broadcasting live on fiber optic to YouTube all over the world, the largest broadcast platform that ever was. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, same bat time, same bat channel. Everybody have a great night out there and a safe tomorrow. Don't forget this coming Saturday, big broadcast day. Have a good one, everybody.